Yeah, this style of graphics is... Sometimes I think, like, I like the retro style because it looked like it was hand-drawn, and it was handmade with pixels. Sometimes I think, like, do you still need to do pixels to have that? I mean, the whole point of it is more like... is that you want it to look handmade as opposed to, like, just being pixelated, so... But I don't know. I don't know how that works, right? I like this a lot more than that kind of weird 2.5D you get with sort of like a lot of Asian mobile games. I don't like that. It looks really glossy and cheap. This looks like somebody put a pixel everywhere, which I just love. Why did it make that noise when I went over here? Now, I can't remember where I need to go. Whoa. Oh, it's really slowing down. Holy moly. Ow. This was on the Vita, this game? Nice! I'm dead! These guys are tough! I think I did watch that, Prince, and it looked really, really interesting. Ooh. I like that death toll. Just like a nice sort of drum beat. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, what I like about this combat style is you really need to wait. You can't spam stuff because he runs out of his like action. Sort of like you can't just spam the attack. It's difficult, but you really have to. It does feel fair. What I'm doing is I'm spamming attacks and dodges, which I shouldn't be doing. That's the whole point of it, right? And this is sort of the first big difficulty spike happened just recently. And there's also some slowdown, which isn't helping. I have a medkit too. You just like wait for them to make that noise and then dodge. I really love when there's an audio cue like that. See, I dodged early, and then he made the hiss, and he came right at me, and I was dead. So you have to always be dodging, because you can't... It's hard to get totally far enough away. So you just have to settle into the flow of the game. What is that that's blowing up in my face? Are those plants that if you hit them with a melee attack, it's a one-shot kill? And then if you shoot them, they blow up in your face? That's kind of cool. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Alright, take these guys out real quick. Don't shoot them. Something I'm shooting. Oh, I see. They're just blowing up from dying. So you need to get away from them. Alright, got it. I watched Mandalorian episode 1. And I'm excited to do a review on it. And then I'll watch the second episode, put one up about that. I was just talking to my friends about it, and I noticed that at the end of the episode, like the bars kind of came back, on the screen. And I thought, oh, what was that? But that was because they had filmed this big action sequence to make something really big with IMAX cameras, and there's like a really interesting use of the ratio to make something look incredibly big and cinematic and exciting, and it's a hell of an opening episode, man. Okay. There you go. Oh, there's lots of these guys. They're gonna blow up. These guys keep coming back. Am I supposed to just run? Maybe. Or do they just spawn forever here? Beat Saber recently has an update that had a multiplayer in your party play the same song, compete for the highest score. And you see them in the distance. That's cool. Beat Saber. Beat Saber. Okay, there we go. Maybe I need to focus on these guys a bit more. I'm sort of letting them... I'm spreading out the damage. These guys are really well planned, where there's like they have just enough health that you can't just sit there and spam them and take a hit and kill them. I have not pre-ordered next gen console. I'm not super excited about the PS5, other than the fact that there's backwards compatibility and what Demon Souls looks really good. And then maybe some other games that I missed on the PS4. Like Horky was bringing up... Jesus fucking Christ. Horky was bringing up Beat Saber. Not Beat Saber. That was Prince just now. Subnautica. He was saying that looks pretty good on the old PS5. There you go. When there's only one enemy type, it's a lot easier because there's less to think about, you know? Ah, I shot that guy and didn't have enough time to dodge. You want one, but you didn't pre-order, you have to wait a while. See that? Are they really going to be that sold out? I guess the gaming industry grows every year, and now with this lockdown, people are like even more conscious of their games, so maybe they've had more time to be at home playing games. So they're like, okay, we're ready for the new console. You know what I was thinking about is I'm so glad that Microsoft really pushed backwards compatibility in this generation and the next. Because normally, like, the PS2 was backwards compatible with the PS1. The PS3 could play PS1 discs. You could even play, like, a lot of PS2 games. And there were different PS3 models that could do different things, like software emulation, hardware emulation, all that stuff. PS3 changed that because even though it was really good at emulating, it's a really hard thing to emulate on the PS4. And then with Nintendo, the Wii could play GameCube games, the Wii U could play Wii games, the Game Boy Advance the DS could play Game Boy Advanced games. And so there was a lot of backwards compatibility, and then the Switch comes down and now there's no backwards compatibility. So I was thinking, if the Xbox One didn't have any backwards compatibility, Jesus, fuck. If the Xbox One didn't have any, and then Switch didn't, and the PS4 didn't, it would have been really easy for the whole, like all three of the big console developers to go, meh, who cares? Just we'll move on without it. People aren't that interested in it. They're not demanding it. That's why you need to have competition, right? So the interesting thing about this is that you can't go too far from these guys because you have to attack them. Can you dash through? They don't actually hurt you by touching them, which is really interesting. That's something way different from a lot of these kind of games. Yeah, not an incentive to get a PS5 because most of the games are just going to be cross-platform. They will be, so it's more like, do you have a 4K TV? Do you want 4K and better frame rates? That's what it comes down to. HDR. The Xbox One's going to have this like auto... Jesus Christ. Going to have like auto HDR, backwards compatibility upgrades. So games that weren't even designed to have HDR, they'll find a way to do it. It's pretty neat. If you don't got the games, you put the money into the hardware and give people stuff for free. These little guys are actually pretty harmless. Maybe they can hurt me by touching me. Maybe it's sort of like they can hit you and then there's a cooldown where they can't. That's interesting about the Switch. Why is it not backwards compatible when that was such a big thing for them? I find that Nintendo does backwards compatibility if you can fit in a physical media, right? So like, the slowdown is a bit frustrating. I mean, I'm not that great at this, but the slowdown makes it pretty tough because the GameCube couldn't play N64 games because they didn't want to put in a cartridge slot or they didn't think it mattered. Just had some drift that sent it way up there. And the GameCube could actually, no, what was it? The Wii U, no, the Wii, sorry. The Wii could actually play the discs, and it even had like the controller ports, right? And then the Wii U could play the Wii discs, and you would have adapters for the controller ports. I think it's because the Switch doesn't have, it just has that like little tiny disc. If anything, it would be able to play something like Game Boy Advance games or something, or 3DS games. I'm terrible, and I'm getting worse. I'm sort of like rethinking my strategy as I'm going here. Maybe that'll make me bad and then better. But that, yeah, I was pissed that they didn't just put all those games. I would gladly, all the old Mario and stuff games that I had bought on my Wii U and Wii. Oh yeah, kill these flowers. There we go. It's hard to decide what to do. Like, I go for the swipe because I want to kill that guy, but I need to be dodging. And there's 3 of them, it's tough. Kill the flowers first, I think. Because when I can just focus on these ones. Isn't Sony giving people access to like 20 PS4 games if they get PS Plus? That would be a great way to get people to buy in. That's right, Prince. Is like, here's a bunch of games you can play. If you weren't playing on the PS4, you missed these games. Here you go. You got it's kind of like an instant library, is what they used to call it. Yeah, exactly, Daryl. When you're like, shouldn't I be getting better? But then it's sort of like when a golfer changes their swing. Sometimes they get way worse before they get better. All right. It's dealing with the 2 enemies is what's blowing my mind here. So, are they going to have what? Sort of like their PlayStation 4 greatest hits and stuff is going to be on there? A new Siberia game? Siberia. To me, that's always the bargain bin game. Welcome, Horky. Sort of like comes down to enemy control in a way. That was cool. They didn't really hurt me. They just sort of like pushed me. Ow. Yep, I'm just spamming there. I'm spamming. I'm panicking and spamming. Spammicking. Panic spam. Spam panic. I mean, Siberia, it was supposed to be like a throwback adventure type game, wasn't it? I remember playing a really good one on my phone called Broken Sword or something. It's a pretty cool... I got it when I was working way out in the middle of nowhere, and we would have to get on these big giant helicopters and go for like 45-minute helicopter rides to go to work. You know, sometimes when you're not even trying and you're just kind of walking around, you realize like, oh, I was killing myself because I was trying too hard in a way. I need to be shooting more too. You really love the world and story enough that you got past the obtuse puzzles and made you feel stupid? Man, I really fell off a cliff in Blade Runner. Where the first half of the game, I thought, this is so cool. The dialogue is written well, the cutscenes are written well, the world is realized really well. And then... Yes! Man, there's so many of these bloody dicks! Oh, helicopter work was fun. It was one of those big Vietnam-looking helicopters with the big sliding door, 15 passengers, 45 minutes. And then once you would get there, You would go in these little like 3-passenger helicopters and whip around and go do work. Yeah, well, for sure. I think the sound can be a huge distraction. It's just more stimulus to take in. Like, I remember people talking about in Bloodborne and Dark Souls that if you turn the volume off to beat the boss, you're cheating. Because that's the whole point of it. You have to deal with that distraction and the music and the sound effects. Yeah, Blade Runner was really fun to dive back into. And then to finish it off, it's like, this is just... The last couple sequences felt really weird. I just lost all momentum on it. It's a weird thing, because like on paper... Fuck! On paper, it seems like... You're finding out if the detective is a replicant or not, and you're kind of... It just feels like they tried to jam a bunch of stuff and like tie up some loose ends really quick. Like right when the game kind of gets going, it just progresses really fast to this long ending, which is what it felt like. It's like I still kind of felt like I was figuring out about the main villain, and then all of a sudden, like there's people leaving town and stuff, and you're being hunted by the police, and you're like, what the fuck? There we go. I think I wasn't doing good enemy management, you know what I mean? Like I was walking out and aggroing everybody. This is really hard. You get really good at games and listening to a song you love. You even start synchronizing the movements with the song and finish the boss. What? Really? Prince turns playing video games into a musical. And then he takes a bow at the end. Thank you. People and your PlayStation 4 3D prints a rose to throw you. Siberia 3 is pretty bad, but it's $322 for a game and 2 DLC. Oh, it's really bad. Oh, nice. The door didn't close. I should just practice against this guy. Can you dive through them? No. They knock you over. They don't actually kill you, though. It just knocks you over. Oh, yeah. All right, so the trick to this one is not rushing over and aggroing all of them. It's come through, lure some out, and deal with them slowly. Well, I watched that movie Marriage Story with Kylo Ren and Black Widow. And when you see people like that go through a divorce and it affect the kids and the relationship with the kids, you think, oh god, this is bloody terrifying. Crucial to shake it up. The writing was good and the performances were good. I got about halfway through it. I found it really depressing. Sort of like, but that's what happens, is that the guy ends up usually that kind of a system favors the mother and kids. Nice. Where are we going? What about this room down here? Your Marriage Story would have been a better movie? This looks like an elevator, so that's probably a way up. There we go. Let's get into there. This game is badass, eh? I'm glad I'm finally playing it. Yeah, it kind of felt like they went from being totally loving each other to like really disrespecting each other. There's a Canadian actor, David Foley. He was on News Radio. He was in The Wrong Guy. And he got divorced when he was at the top of the peak of his career and like the peak of television. And the government rules, or the legal system rules, that he needs to provide that same lifestyle for his kids and wife. He said, I have to, and the only way I can afford that is if I'm on a huge TV show. This is starting to feel like Hotline Miami. Like I'm going into a room and I'm terrified. Especially with the gunshots and everything. I didn't realize it was going to be this intense. These guys are pretty weak, though, when you think about what they're doing. This music? Yeah, it is very repetitive. I've also been in the same area for a long time, right? So I went over to Hotline Miami. Yeah, what an amazing game. You know, I didn't even know about that game, and then it was actually when we had moved here for the first time, maybe we were just hanging. And Stella's friend's brother, Tori, who I've recorded a few things with on the channel. He showed it to me actually when I first got my PS4. That's when it was. And we played this PS3 game. But it's just like, that game is so original, such a tight gameplay loop. For me, that was perfect. It's similar to this. Tight gameplay, intense, atmospheric, and just enough story. Like that, I think that's how you tell a story in a video game for me. Prince, I think you have a good point there. Better to really analyze yourself and pinpoint the core of it and address that rather than just like a random shakeup. Yeah. I remember when I was growing up, I had a much older brother from my dad's previous marriage, my half-brother. This is so weird. There's like a desk. Why is there a desk here? Is this our society in the future? It looks like a well. Anyways, his solution to everything was move away. He'd be like, I don't like it here. It's all going to be better when I move to Florida. Then it'll be better. Be better. That's what I think of your documents. Damn your documents! I like this purple bougie tree in here. Blugie. What's going on? I thought this was the thing, man. No? Every time I'm confused in a game and I shoot something, I am reminded of when I lived in England and there was a really smart guy and him and I were both crashing at this nice guy's apartment. And I was playing Half-Life 2 for the first time and I was confused and I was jumping around. And this English guy that was also crashing there was like smarter than me, more charming, better looking. He was a real kind of, he was sort of like, but he had this almost like elegant regalness to him. But he was crashing on a couch and smoked hash. And I remember as he was watching me fail at this puzzle and I was jumping and shooting, he goes, I don't think shooting at a puzzle ever solved it. I go, yeah. Sometimes it does. A very charming guy. He had very odd habits where he would like, you want to murder him? You like this guy? He had these habits where he would just like maybe eat ketchup by the teaspoon or peanut butter. Brilliant guy. And then I remember when he moved out, he was saying, well, life can't just be all video games and hash, can't it? And I said, what happened? Did you get somebody pregnant? And he said, I'll never forget, he goes, what a rather astute observation. I have. And then I could see him kind of forecasting the rest of his life. And he would end up kind of like selling trinkets with this girl at fairs and stuff. Having a kid. Beans on toast? Probably, yeah. Man, when I lived in England, they had it was a water boiler, you know, like a kettle. And that thing could boil water in 90 seconds. Just boom! Pretty sad. It did feel kind of sad. I guess he was kind of having his last hurrah. It was a really cool house. There was a really kind of, the guy I was staying with was sort of a quiet, docile guy. He played a lot of EVE Online and smoked hash. His father worked as like a caregiver and owned the building, so he kind of set it up as an apartment for his kids. The older brother was sort of the more outgoing one, and he would constantly be in India, and then he would come back and produce a bit of music, and he kind of always had all his friends around looking after them. I didn't even know these people one of my friends said, yeah, I stayed at them once. They gave me the guy's name. I said, hey, I'm in England, and they just told me his address, and I stayed there for 3 months. And then when it was time for me to move out, he lent me like £300 to get my own place. And then every time I try to pay him back, he's like, don't worry about it. Matthew. And when I moved in there, he had injured his coccyx in a snowboarding accident. And the closest convenience store was way down this hill, so I was his gopher. I'd just go get him groceries and everything. And I played a shit ton of guitar, because I was just alone and had a little guitar, and I was in Europe. It was great. I got way better at guitar when I was there. And then went and lived with a bunch of Polish and Brazilian people in a house. That was fun. I met this Slovakian girl who sounded like Julie Andrews. It was like she learned how to speak English from watching Mary Poppins or something. Documents! 4 equals 2. Okay. You have an electric kettle with a temperature dial. There, that's right, yes, because I know we were in a tea shop and Stella's like, I don't like green tea, it's bitter. And the tea people are like, do you boil your water regularly? Because you're probably boiling it too hot. And the green tea needs to be at like 95 degrees. Otherwise it will become bitter, yes. I go, ooh, Stella, you just got lightly slapped in the face with a wet tea bag. How's that taste? Bitter? Kids, I never wanted them. I do want them. Now, I do want to have a kid. Or at some point in my life. But it is a big commitment. Especially the first year. You got to keep this thing alive, right? Because they come out not ready. What the hell is this? That music's gone finally. I think this game does a pretty good job of not making me feel like I'm lost. Which I think would be really easy to do for you to go the wrong way, but it's done really well. Like, what a drastic difference. That purple, oppressive, repetitive, ominous music. And you come up here, white, Greek, green, friendly looking character. Oh, that's dead. The water. And just some nice white noise, birds chirping. Shantytown. Nice flying things. This game's amazing. And then do a runner? Really? Human babies are. It's odd though, my friend just had one, and as this kid is old enough to like walk around and talk and have ideas and stuff, he says he really misses having a little baby bean. And this lockdown came at a good time. He ended up getting to spend this last bit, such a formative time. Get to spend it with your kid every day. It's just so peaceful. Oh, I've been here before. Whoa, that feels good. Oh, disaster piece, baby. What an amazing composer. He wouldn't like having a baby, but he'd love having an older son-daughter when they reach the young adulthood. You could always adopt them. Well, I mean, I'm sure if you had a kid in, like, 1920, now your kid is, having to deal with World War II or a depression. There's always going to be something. You shouldn't have one unless you're 100% sure about having a child. The person you're with, the future you envision with it is the one you want, and the environment you'd raise it in. Yeah. Although I think sometimes some people just can't, they're going to grow apart. And if they can stay and respect each other. I would say my parents' divorce was really traumatic because they fought a lot, and the people that they added into their lives made it really difficult. Because they were very stressful, needy people. But now that we're done with it, it's a good thing. I'm glad that they're not together in a way if they're happier this way. Oh, climate change and asteroid impact? Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I was just watching Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan. So I guess I'd go down here. Try to get there. Or up here. Or here. Why is that one gray and these ones are purple? Where Bernie Sanders was saying, I believe that, and this isn't just me saying this is the scientists saying this, very smart people, educated people, we have 15 years, or we're going to have irreparable damage to the earth. How can you argue with that? We need to make a change. Undeniable change. You're on the spectrum. You don't want to give it to them as it's a frustrating childhood. Huh. Not to immediately make it about me, but sometimes I wonder if I'm slightly on the spectrum. I asked Stella that, and she's like, no, you're not. Go, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you know. Maybe I am. I like that there is a spectrum, and it's not just like, autistic, Asperger's. Not. Because humans are so varied, right? Sorry, I should really crank this music when I'm saying. Humans are varied. Spiritual beings of light and color. Many shades of colors. You started making huge lines to people you connect with on it. I've realized most of my favorite people are musicians, friends, all the people. Huge damage. Absolutely. What? Oh, are on it? Really? Interesting. I guess that would make sense to have that in common and be able to relate in that way. I had a piano player that was, full guided meditation. Embrace your inner disaster piece. Should I bother going into this hole? ADHD and Asperger's. Interesting. I feel like Stella has some sort of like ADD that she does not like to ever admit. Or maybe she's like, because she's dyslexic. And that I think it's like a symptom of dyslexia or something. No, I've been down here before. So where am I going? I guess I could try to go. I could warp there. Where's this Fugazi? Yep. This game rules. Yeah, I had a piano player when I was on a cruise ship that had Asperger's. And yeah, it's interesting, like, remember the conversations I'd have with him. And I can be sort of like sarcastic and passive aggressive, and I had to sort of change how I was communicating with him. You embrace the knowledge fast, explained everything. Not a disability, just makes you different. Yes. Well, there'll be things where like I'm terrible at sort of like I don't see things visually very well, and I have a tough time planning things and organizing things. And I think of like there must be, like kind of a spectrum of where that is difficult. But it's not really like a known thing. Okay, I gotta figure out where to go. Let's try this section. I wouldn't mind reaching out to one of those mental health things you can talk to. Or a friend. Educational audiobook? Yeah. Yeah, I tend to listen to more candy stuff where it's people talking about old nostalgic things I like. Being funny. He was a terrible orator. I think he was pretty entertaining, like a comedian, He was like the host of... he was like an open mic host. I mean, when I compare him to listening to Joe Biden talk, I mean, I'm happier that Joe Biden is in, although he's got some red flags too. Is that all those videos of him sniffing people's hair? Are those fake? What is that? Is there any way to explain that? Is he not sniffing their hair? Is he actually like, I don't know, is that just how he hugs people? Because he's a tall guy or something? It is a bit weird. The little dance he does? Which one? The Trump dance? When he does this? He was talking about one guy. He's like, he's got these big shoes. A lot of rubber on those shoes. No. I've already been down here. So I need to go to the right somehow. Oh, really? I'll try that. I mean, it'd be good to know that stuff, and then you can probably try different strategies, right? Kind of embrace weaknesses and strengths and learning differences and all that. What I hate about like politics is that it seems that there's this one side, the way they think about each other, where it's like if you're on the left side you think people on the right are racist, and on the right they go people on the left are a bunch of grown-up babies who want to color their hair and watch anime and and have no backbone. I don't like that part. And then the left side being like, oh, the right, they're all ignorant and have no worldview and are just bullies. It's too divisive. Okay, I don't understand this map. Oh, yeah. This is it, I think. Oh, that's what the name of it is? Like it's purposefully bad trap? When I see tiles like this, I always imagine my toe going back the wrong way and peeling off. These guys are just like so nothing compared to those freaks down there. But there's a lot of them. Once you get kind of like in the zone of this, it feels pretty cool. Like attack, dash, dodge, shoot. It's very simple too. I like this guy really feels like sort of an assassin, like dodge, slash. Like the weight of the gun. Zuzu! Documents. Oh my god, I got more yellow pieces. Ta-da! Ever lost a fingernail? Oh god, Christopher G. No. Isn't that amazing how your brain instantly imagines it and the pain of it? Like, oh, I saw someone do like one of those posts. Oh, or they saw the toe coming down. Ah! I did bash my toe really bad against my pedal board yesterday. I'm trying not to even touch it and think about how bad it could be damaged. Just letting it be, letting it try to heal. Onio Flux, Onio Flux. The name of the album? Shit Trap. Onio Flux, Onio Flux. It is pretty shitty trap, so mission accomplished. You can't make it with just one dash. Oh, yeah. No more fire. Alright. I really like this game. Why did it take me so long to play this? I know I waited a long time for it to be on the Switch. And then I guess I just got lost and was streaming it and was probably a big baby that couldn't figure it out. But it is fun to just explore. What did I just pick up? Ow! 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 Onio Flux. Onio Flux. Being catchy doesn't mean good. Catchy just means repetitive. You love how rich the story is? Christopher, you should just write sarcastic video game reviews. Oh, the story's so rich. Oh my god, I just got lost in the words. Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, the song is catchy the way like a mobile tap-tap game or a cookie clicker game is not actually considered a good game. Onio Flux. Onio Flux. That one's great. What am I doing down here? I'm trying to get up there. Onio Flux. Onio Flux. Well, why'd I come all the way down here? What's this all about? What was the point of all that? Oh? That's where I just crossed, right? Ugh. Yeah, that's what, like, oof. When I bought my first Beatles album, I wanted one song I knew and a whole bunch I didn't. Because eventually you're going to get sick of the one you know anyway. Well, that didn't work. You are dead. Christopher G, what's the last good game you played where you thought, this is really special? I'm really liking this one. Who were we talking to last time? Was that you, Christopher? They were asking all these amazing questions about what if you could get one game made or something, or like one genre that's underserved, or one game that's improved, or make one thing into an open world game. Was that you coming up with those questions? Or we got to write all those down so we can do podcasts on them. Onio Flux, Onio Flux, Onio Flux. That was you? Yeah, man. We're if you don't mind, we're gonna take all those. Spent the last 20 hours trying to write a song. Well, remember this: John Lennon woke up one day and spent all morning, like 5 hours, trying to write a song. Everything was crap, and then he laid down, and Nowhere Man just came to him, and he put it all together, laying down. But you have to put the work in to write it, and then you need to, like, get into a relaxed state where you can put it together without forcing it. Someone I think that has really forced sounding songs is John Mayer. I think John Mayer writes amazing songs and is an amazing musician, but sometimes the way he jams his songs together, I think are very like, he just went, okay, I need a bridge, so here's a totally different key, and I'm going to put some fancy chords, and everything's going to sound impressive and good, but it's actually only old flax. Only old flax. I don't get it. Should I be on those red pieces? I feel like I need to get over there. If you could be tormented for eternity in one specific fashion, which would you choose? Fingernail removal? Oh, no. I have to choose one way to be tortured? I don't get it. What part of it? Are those walls in between them? Are you supposed to, maybe I need the double chain before I can do anything here. Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts. At least at a certain point I would get it, and I'd go, oh yeah, the story, it makes so much sense now. Oh my god, I love it. Thank you, Kingdom Hearts, for showing me the way. Something sounding force is an interesting concept. Yeah, I feel like because I had a girlfriend who liked John Mayer, so I listened to a lot of his stuff, and it's like he just sort of comes into these kind of crazy parts, but he's so obviously really, really extremely talented, and I like a bunch of his stuff. You know, John Mayer wrote that song "Daughters on the Toilet." We already went through all this. Like the different flavors of chat. YouTube, I find people are a little more chill. Twitch, they're a little more intense, a little more hardcore, focused on games. YouTube is a bit more general, I find. And then the D-Live stuff is just crazy. They come in, they're speaking a different language. They're calling you insults in Russian or whatever, asking you to play some trap song and then leaving immediately. There's a lot of that weird stuff going on in D-Live. And Facebook is usually my friends who go, hey Matt, what's this? Weird. Bye. I think this is it. Go up to the door that has 3 diamonds full, and now you can open it. Jesus. Or maybe oh, it's these guys. They look happy. Oh, these jerks. Bullet hell monkeys. This music is nice. I do want to try Subnautica. Uematsu and John Williams can create so many profound melodies. Yeah. Like, in a 12-note scale, how are you still coming up with ways to tell that story? I guess because music is all about context, right? Like, how does one note relate to the note played after and the notes around it? Oh! One piece I go back to a lot of John Williams, because John Williams did The Last Jedi, right? The part where Luke lands on Crate, or his projection is on Crate, and they play kind of like the Return of the Jedi theme when he comes through, and then when he appears, and then they play the Luke and Leia theme. That is like a theme that was only really heard in Return of the Jedi, and it wasn't recorded really well in Return of the Jedi, and the version they have here is so gorgeous. And then he goes to like the Leia theme, and he does like the Han and Leia love theme, and then they do that reverse Imperial March when Luke goes out to face Kylo. I think is some of the best stuff he's ever done. So a Subnautica on the PS5. Yeah, Jeremy really recommended it, and him and I tend to like the same games. I know that we both thought Horizon Zero Dawn was pretty boring. Even though I really wanted to like it, but it's pretty generic. Beautiful looking and impressive. Wow. Yes! Eat that, turtle frog ninjas. The ability to use it one tune in a million different ways and emotions. Yes, that's why I think sometimes people go over the top about worrying about like, oh, that 2-note interval is from a song. There's like using the same intervals and chord progressions as another piece because you have to use the same stuff. It's how you put it together. And then I think it's pretty clear when you listen to something of like, you took what was catchy about one song, you took the soul of that song and made it your own. Or no, sorry, didn't make it your own. That's the problem when people do that. Nice. What are these yellow things? Oh, they're those yellow things. Get 4 to get 2. You need 2. So many of them. This is a fun little area. I'm just thinking about Christopher's review of this. The rich story. Yeah. Yeah, Uematsu. So impressive. I told you guys, on Discord that I went to the gas station next door to me, and the guy was, and he had some music playing. I'm like, what is that? Is that from Mario Galaxy? And it was the, I think it was like From a Distant World's Final Fantasy orchestrated. And then the song after it wasn't more Final Fantasy. It was just his big mix of video game stuff, so. He recommended I listen to some Bravely Default stuff. Final Fantasy XII OST is Sakimoto would replay the Imperial theme a million times. Your ears would perk up and you'd think, it sounds like it, but it doesn't. How about Koji Kondo taking one melody and transmogrifying it over the whole Super Mario World soundtrack, where even like the Amazing Castle theme is that same melody. Bum bum ba-dum 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 bum 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 bum. I love that castle theme in Super Mario World. Especially the B section of it is so gorgeous. I found the way to go. Yeah, he had a Sakimoto, or he or her, their soundtrack was pretty perfect for Final Fantasy XII. Yeah, but I think that works with Final Fantasy XII because it wasn't like you could set the tone with a nice, like Final Fantasy VII, you could have this really dreary Heart of Anxiety slum theme, and then you'd go into battle and you would have this really fun, exciting battle theme. But Final Fantasy XII, you had to listen to the same theme for hours with no interruption. So it couldn't be too memorable, otherwise it could probably get pretty annoying, right? So that makes sense. I think his or her music worked really well. Again, like Zelda, you just have to kill all the enemies. I see how it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, I find Sakimoto stuff can be pretty boring. Not stuff I would seek out or be memorable, but it's good in the moment. I think it framed the characters and the locations really, really well. What else has Sakimoto done? What are you? Oh, great. More enemies. These guys are annoying. Unhideable anxiety from FFTA. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Final Fantasy The Afterbirth. Final Frontier. What's FFTA? Oh no, don't be doing that. No reason to be doing that too early. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I like when they show you on the screen in a game like this with like lots of reflex and precision. I don't like having to look around to the corners of the screen for your health information and stuff. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Okay. Battle of Hope from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, helping me out. Nice. Oh, they can dance on the water in the pale moonlight. I want that yellow thing. How do I get over there? How am I going to get over that yellow thing? I don't want to risk dying. Thing about Sakamoto's evilly stuff, 12, Tactics, Advanced. Very cheerful, Christmassy sound. Yeah, there's sort of like a brisk sort of shum da 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 da. And he likes to have those kind of high flutes like doo 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 ba da ba ba ba. There's not a lot of melody, like movie music lately. It's awful. There's no melody. Everything is big taiko drums. Yeah, I want more Harry Potter music. Nice. Very nice. I love Hans Zimmer, but everybody tried copying him. Although I find his Dunkirk soundtrack not very musical, but I think it works really well for what that movie is because it's so intense. Yeah, everybody wanted to copy Inception. Bwah, bwah. I love the Interstellar soundtrack a lot. Most of it. It had a lot more melody and heart to it. It's interesting to hear somebody else work on a Nolan film when I saw Tenet. I wonder what he's going to do for Dune. Hopefully something interesting. I think Hans Zimmer's need a bit of a... He's needed a bit of a freshening up. Oh! Yeah. And I love epic stuff, but it does feel like we are trapped in it right now, especially for movie trailers too. Everything's just the same trick. And a movie trailer doesn't necessarily mean that's what the whole score is going to sound like, but a lot of times it can be kind of indicative. Man. Yeah, Hans Zimmer's 90s stuff was pretty melodic. Like, Broken Arrow, The Rock, all that military stuff he was doing. And he did it for that Quentin Tarantino movie too, right? The one with, what's his name? Christian Slater. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum on the marimbas. Oh, look at all the slowdown for just two characters. Crimson Tide. Yeah. Isometric style gameplay, but more narrative focused. Yeah, without the combat. I'd like to get back to Disco Elysium. Felt it was a tough one to stream, but something that I could really enjoy on my own. Finally, somebody like has an original idea with how to present this sort of D&D elements. A lot of these areas end up kind of feeling just like enemy gauntlets, you know? Just throw some enemies at you. And that's, again, why Disco Elysium is so cool. Because it's not really about that. It's more about, like, how do you deal with a big character? Come back here later and deal with them. When you have a clever way of doing it. Oh, Disco Elysium was so deep. You really had to think about what you were doing, and it just rewarded so many different choices. Here they all come. Ah! This is tough. Yeah, I really like that Hans Zimmer melodic military vibe he had in the late 90s. That stuff was great. I liked his Batman soundtracks were really good too. Those were somewhat melodic. At least like the Batman theme was. Then I felt like he was just kind of doing everything in the last 5 to 10 years. Be like, oh, he did the score to The Lone Ranger and the Superman movies. Yep, Daryl. I will have, definitely. You said you had a 40-second clip in Our Friends Things, or Our Friends Stuff. I don't even know what heterophony is. 8 tones or something? No, that'd be hexa. No, 8 is octa. Hetero. So in hetero or homo, 2 phones together. Man! This is tough when I have 1 hit point. Okay, cleared this gauntlet. And it looks like we can walk up to where perhaps might be the first boss. Judging by the map. Oh yeah. What a game. A fantasy adventure Indiana Jones type movie. Oh my god. Other than Guardians of the Galaxy, which is sci-fi adventure. Oh, first big boss type. What a treat to hear that soundtrack. He's not so bad. It's not as bad as some of the other guys I've been dealing with. Ah! I got killed by the little booger on the ground. The kid who would be king. Keeps the music going. And then starts it over again. Blah. Yeah, these guys on the ground are the worst ones. Knives Out or Doctor Sleep. I saw Knives Out recently. That was really nice. I didn't see Doctor Sleep. I really liked The Vast of Night. That was fantastic. I was really impressed by that. And Knives Out, too. Doctor Sleep was good? Nice. Crunch. Let's learn these attacks. I hadn't even heard of the kid who would be king. These jerks. Ah! Bleh. Andy Serkis directed and his son starred. It's unfortunate sometimes you see something like that where you go, oh, Andy Serkis got his chance to direct and his son's in it. There's going to be a lot of love and passion, but then sometimes those films just aren't that strong. Like I watched one where Tom Hardy produced it and he played these two twins, and it was okay, but the script was kind of weak. And or like I heard about Tom Hanks writing a movie or directing this movie Greyhound, and I go, oh wow, sounds like such a great passion project. And then you hear a bunch of reviews where it's like, it's just okay. Andy Serkis. He definitely won Lord of the Rings, hey? Him and Peter Jackson. I mean, Peter Jackson was already a pretty well-known film director, right, by that point? But he got a big boost out of that. Andy Serkis definitely got a big boost out of that. To go to being like sort of the preeminent motion capture guy, right at a time when motion capture is really taking off, and to be known as the #1 person for it. Man. Oh, I didn't realize he's got his health down there. Yeah, I mean, when you make a movie, you have to give up so much of your life, and a lot of times you don't know how. There's like the idea, there's the script, and then there's the people you have attached to do it, and and then the budget, and then things kind of get changed. You can change the rating of it. You just don't know. You don't know how people are going to react. Planet of the Apes movies are stellar, especially Don. I know he acted in them. Did he direct or have anything to do with those? Or are we talking about Peter Jackson? Peter Jackson or Serkis? Remember, I wasn't really a big fan of the King Kong that Jackson did. Apparently in those Hobbits movies, they gave him no time to plan anything. He did everything just on the fly. And then it wasn't until they got to like this big battle where he goes, I can't do this anymore. We have to stop production. I need to plan things out. And it makes a lot of sense because it seems like the Hobbit movies feel like a lot of money was thrown at it, but not a lot of patience or time, or they didn't really think about what is this movie going to be about? Why are we making this? Who are the main characters? Serkis acted Matt Reeves. What other stuff has Matt Reeves done? boy, this is hard. Yeah, the Apes movies felt pretty good. I felt like they captured... I think that they did a good job of, like, updating it in a way that felt pretty good. God damn it. Yeah, interesting you should say that. When you do think of Jackson movies, they do feel like a commitment. And it started with Lord of the Rings. Wow, if you just stand here, he's not going to hurt you. Oh my god, he can't get me if I stand right there. I was waiting for him to kill me. And I think I found a secret and vulnerable spot. If you haven't seen The Vast of Night, check it out. At night, in the dark. If he just keeps doing this... I need to kill those guys fast. Yeah, there we go. This guy ain't so bad. Kill those things before they can mess with me. Stay away from his purple hand. If you get close to him, he does the fist, which is way easier to block than I think the tubes. Feels a lot like a Dark Souls boss. Oh! I like when you dodge through them. If it was kind of indirect, you don't get through unscathed. You don't take damage, but they sort of knock you down. Matt Reeves directed Let Me In Cloverfield. Not his best stuff. Now he's doing the Batman movies, the shovel face from Twilight. He does have sort of a garden hoe for a face, doesn't he? He's seemed to pick some pretty good movies. I mean, to want to act in a 4x3 black and white, super emotional, serious face with old Willem Dafoe. I think you've... I liked him in Tenet, too. He's pretty good in that. It's weird for actors to get stuck with such a huge franchise like that right away. And then be known for that, right? Oh, long load time would totally kill this, right? Like, oh, you know when you die at a boss in Bloodborne and you go, oh, I gotta walk all the way back and I gotta collect blood vials. I like how these things, they kind of run off at first when they come out of them, like they're freaked, you know? Oh! Toodly doodly dude. I think having a difficulty slider in souls would be appropriate. I would have liked it if you could have just kept fighting the boss in Bloodborne instead of having to make your way all the way back. Even though it kind of gives you time to like cool down and chill out, but this is nice to be able to just keep fighting him on my own terms, you know. Without it being easier, but just less tedious. So I don't know, is that a part of the experience, having to then get the vials and work your way back up to fighting the boss? Having that space in between. A time for that, the knowledge to like sink in and really plan your attack. Whereas this one, like, I feel more willing to experiment because I know that I'm only 5 seconds away from another attempt. This feels really good when you can get those up and you see the 2 frames of him going hup, hup, smash, hup, hup, smash. Gun is charged from slashing. Bum bum bum, 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 bum 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 bum. I really like the Estus flasks in Dark Souls way better than the vials, because the Estus flask meant we can design this experience to take this many Estus flasks of damage, whereas Bloodborne, you could go fight with like 4 vials or 20 vials or whatever. The easier version belongs more broadly. Yeah, like why not just have a normal mode and a hard mode, or like a regular mode and an easy mode? Yeah, what I've seen, I remember a long time ago, it was all this stuff like Johnny Depp's a wife beater, and then now Amber Heard is recorded somewhere saying that he didn't hit her or that she hit him or something. And it sounds like they were in a pretty bad relationship. But was he keeping her against her will and manipulating her and attacking her? And he got fired because of his personal life? See a lot of people standing up for him. Her exes say she was pretty abusive, or he? His exes say he was? Alright, what is the next phase of this? Those sound effects remind me of Metal Gear Solid 1. Looks like a big YouTube play button up there. This thing had 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I think that you could just subtly increase the speed or decrease the speed of the enemy's movements and attacks, depending on how the player is dealing with them. And if they slowly got faster, that would make it so even people that got really good at the game, that would increase the challenge in a nice way, because it would be throwing their timing off, right? Kunauno. The play button. Man, that's got a nice bass to it. The Xbox Series X, yeah. That's what's gonna happen to that life-size fridge they made. Give me your soul. New gun. Oh, cool. Does more damage, wider spread up close, but loses the range. Oh, you get to keep both. Awesome. I thought I was going to have to choose. More pixels. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if anything, the PlayStation PS5 is the one that's massive, right? It's just that the Xbox doesn't have any style. Okay. Well, I guess that finishes up this section. I really like this game. I'll have more.